Hey, hey, hey. So it is late Sunday night. It's been a long weekend, trying to keep up with the DP-a-thon and watch things and do my own and, all that stuff that was going on. Yeah, so I have to make this video still. And I have to go to work tomorrow. So this is my only shot to make this video right now. Husband's upstairs. He's trying to watch some TV, and I've been kind of shunned to my basement craft room. It's cold down here, you guys. That's all there is to it. It's cold. So yeah, I just forgot what color I'm doing. Let me check this out real quick. It's been a long weekend. Okay, long. It's been a long 2 weeks, actually. That's the truth of the matter right there. A long 2 weeks. I think I'm doing the equal sign. For some reason, I don't even have all the drills down here. Anyhow, geez Louise. Anyhow, we're doing equal sign. Yep, we're going to do equals. Okay. Is that right? I think so. I don't know. I better check, though. Yeah, it's equals. Okay. Sorry, you guys. I'm all over the place right now. I'm tired. I've been working on lesson plans and stuff like that for school, and geez. Anyhow, okay, enough about all that nonsense. What am I doing? I'm working on my Hannahlyn diamond painting. I love this painting, you guys. It is just absolutely stunning. It's gorgeous. What am I doing Hannahlyn for? Well, I hope you guys know by now what I'm doing Hannahlyn for. Maritza from Kiss My Crafts and I are doing this Hannahlyn DP along. Pick up your Hannahlyn and diamond paint along with us as we work on our Hannahlyns. We actually have quite a few people joining along in this paint along, diamond paint along, and some people are cruising right along. We've already had one person finish a Hannahlyn, and it just started. So anyhow, if you want to join us, grab a Hannahlyn, diamond paint along with us. It is there's a prize, okay? There's a prize at the end. We're keeping track of entries and things like that. So, yeah, and it's just fun, Maritza and I are putting together some videos along the way for you guys, to watch, get to know us a little bit better as we get to know each other even better. So, yeah, the paint along is going until the end of February. End of February, we will look at all of the entries that people got, so you can get an entry for showing us the painting you're going to work on before you start it. You can email it to us, or you can put it on Instagram yourself. Hashtag Hannahlynndp along. I'll link that later. And you get an entry into the contest for commenting on our videos. So, like, here's a video opportunity to earn an entry, right? You will get an entry for a completed Hannahlyn diamond painting. And a few people can get a bonus if they're working on one that Maritza or I are working on. So I'm working on the Ice Princess, and she's just beautiful. Maritza is working on Moon Glow. I mean, she's gorgeous too. I mean, they're all beautiful, right? Anyhow, I love the colors in this one. It's so pretty. This one has 3 ABs. Not all of them have 3 ABs. This one does, though. So I'm not really adding a lot more to it. I did add some pink sparklers, though. In these flowers in here, I just put a few little pink sparklers spattered throughout. And since it already has 3 ABs, I really think that's plenty. So anyhow, I like how it's turning out. It's gorgeous. All right, so join along. It's not too late. Somebody made a comment or whatever, I don't have my painting yet, and I don't know when it's coming. Well, start whenever you can. You know what I'm saying? When you get it, start. Post a picture and get started. So, even if you don't finish, okay, you don't get a entry into the contest for a finish, but you would for a start, and you can get bonus or entries for making comments on our videos. So yeah, come on, do it, guys, do it. Yeah. Anyhow, that's what we're doing. So today I have a video, and Maritza will have a video as well, and we just sent each other some questions. Now her and I, we've been getting to know each other pretty well. I mean, we talk outside of YouTube, we text, we talk on the phone a little bit, stuff like that. So we're getting to know each other pretty well. But, I had a couple questions for her, and she came up with a couple questions for me. Now, if I answer all of them today, well, then I answer all of them. If I don't, I'll answer them in another video. But some of them might be short, quick answers, and some might get a little more lengthy, okay? So let's see what we got. I've read the questions. I know what they are. I'm just going to start at the top and just move through them, okay? So we'll see how it goes. So you guys ready? Here we go. These are the questions that Maritza wanted me to answer for her. Questions that she had about me. All right? I didn't make these up. These are questions that she had. All right. First question. Here we go. You ready? First question is, what did you do before you started teaching? Very good question. I have not always been a teacher. I didn't go back to teaching or back to school to get my teaching degree until I was like 34, I think. 33, 34, somewhere in there. So I was older. I had a lot of college credits. It took me 3 years to get my teaching degree and then eventually get my teaching job, right? So what did I do before that? Well, I did a few things before that. My parents owned a store. We called it a party store. Some people call it a convenience store, but it's basically a little store that sells, pop, chips, milk, candy. We had liquor, so it was a liquor store. Your beer, cigarettes, some food, My parents owned that store for, 40 some years, 43, 44, I don't know, something. It was a long time. So when I was young, they bought that store. And I started working at that store when I was very, very young. My sister and I would go up on a Saturday, and we would work all Saturday at the store, putting stuff on the shelves, putting away candy, restocking the coolers and stuff like that. And we would work all day, and my dad would give us money to go roller skating. And a little bit, for some snacks or something at the skating rink. And then as I got older, I worked there after school. It was like co-op. And it was something I did for school credit. And then after that, I continued working there. And I worked there, oh my gosh, let's see, from the time I was 16 is when I started working with a paycheck for school credit, all the way up until I was 25. So yeah, that was a long time, right? At 25, I was having my daughter. And after I had my daughter, I told my parents I just needed to have a better job that could pay more and could give me health insurance, because through them I didn't have health insurance. Small business, just didn't happen. So I had to go find a different job. After I had my daughter, I started hunting for a job, and when she was 6 weeks old, I went to work for a bank. I was a bank teller. I loved being a bank teller. That was fun. I liked counting money and stuff like that. I was good at it. I was fast. I was accurate. I really enjoyed that. I did that for 8.5 years. 8.5 years I was a bank teller, and I really, really liked it. Then one day I had been on a little vacation, and when I came back, they said I had to go down to the main office and go to a meeting there or see somebody, I had no idea. When I got there, they told me that I was basically being let go. I was being downsized, That's really what happened. I was downsized. They had sold the company to another bank, some foreign bank somewhere, and they had to like really downsize the staff, and so they had to let a bunch of people go. I was one of them. I still think it's because I didn't like the sales part of the job, that they'd started wanting us to like try to sell people accounts and things like that. Not sell them, but talk them into it, you know. So I really think that's really why they let me go, because I wasn't keen on, you know, hey, why don't you open a CD with our bank? You know, I didn't like that part. Anyhow, that's when I went back to school and I got my teaching degree. It took me 3 years going to school full time, including summer. It took me 3 years to finish and then get a job as a teacher. So that's what I did before I became a teacher. Yeah, there you go. I love this next question. This next question is beautiful. How did Mr. Moment ask you to marry him? Well, surprise, surprise, Mr. Moment did not ask me to marry him. He did not. So if you don't know, oh man, those were so crooked. If you don't know, Mr. Moment and I were high school boyfriend and girlfriend, and even my early college days, we were boyfriend and girlfriend for a while. Yeah, it was a thing that went on and on for a while, okay? I always thought we'd get married. He thought we'd get married, but we didn't. At some point, we parted ways, and I went off and got married to somebody else, had a family. He went off and got married to somebody else, had a family. And then about 25, 26 years later, we ran into each other just by accident. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's him. And, you know, that's kind of how it started. So we started, you know, talking to each other on the phone and going out to dinners and seeing each other and stuff like that. And talking about what happened. Why didn't we get married back then? What happened? And, you know, all that. I always had a place in my heart for that man. I always, you know, thought, man, that's the one that got away. You know, all that stuff. So one day we were at his house. He had a pool, and we had been in the pool, and we'd been swimming, and we came in, you know, we had to change our clothes, everything was wet and whatnot, you know. And we were talking again, and we'd been getting pretty close, you know, and kind of knowing that, you know, we really missed out on an opportunity years ago, and, you know, all that. He said to me, I'll never forget, he said to me, you know, if you'd asked me to marry you, he said, right now, he said, I'd say yes. I'd marry you. And I was like, really? You would? He goes, yeah, you know, I would. We should have done it a long time ago. I'd marry you. And I'm like, well then, will you marry me? And he was like, you're serious, right? You want me to marry you? And I was like, yeah, I want you to marry me. And he was like, okay, all right. So that was like early spring, or not even spring. It was early in the year, and we were married April 1st. It was 6 months from the day that I ran into him at the store to the day that we were married. 6 months. Now, some of my family was like, whoa, what are you doing? Slow down. Why do you need to rush this? Why are you trying to, you know, get married so fast? And I was like, because it's right. I mean, it's right. We know it's right. You know, when you know it's right and it's what you want to do, why should we wait around? We don't need time to tell us that we want to be together and be married. So I asked him. I mean, he basically told me to ask him, but I asked him. That is our story of how we got together. So some people may have heard that already. I've told that story a couple times, but there it is. That's how it happened. I know. All right. Next question. Where did I grow up? I grew up in the country. Yeah. Actually, when I was young, when I was a younger child, I actually lived in the city, but um, it was really like a suburb of the city. It wasn't really city. It was a very small neighborhood when we lived there. It was really a block. It was 4 streets and there was nothing else around. So it was kind of set off on the other side of the highway from the actual city. And that's where I grew up until I was 13 or so. When I was 13, and this kind of goes with the last question, you'll get a kick out of this. When I was 13, my parents wanted to move, and they wanted to move out into the country. Put our house up for sale. I was kicking, screaming. I took the for sale sign out of the yard. I didn't want to go. All my friends lived in that neighborhood, What did I want to move out in the country for? Well, we moved, There wasn't anything I could do about it. We moved out to the country. So the city that I lived in was Lansing in Michigan. And then when we moved really 3 miles. That's as far as we moved, 3 miles. And then we were out in Holt, which is a suburb of Lansing. So we moved and we were out in like the middle of nowhere. On the street that we lived on, there were maybe 10 houses in a mile-long stretch of road, so not a lot of people out there and stuff, and I didn't really have any friends out there. I didn't. My friends were my friends either from school or my friends that I'd had when we lived in the other neighborhood. But here's the funny part of the story is that I had to ride the bus, and my husband, he lived a mile from my house, my new house. And he tells me to this day that the first day that I got on the bus, he was like telling his friends, ooh, look at, that's a new girl. Look at, they moved in over here. She's cute. I like her, And from that moment on, we went to the same school, and it was like middle school at this point, and we had a couple classes together, and we never really talked much. It took a little while. It took a few years before we really started talking to each other. I was 16 when we started dating each other, so yeah, about 3 years before we actually really talked to each other. But he remembers me from day one on the bus, and I was like, okay. So yeah, we had 13 acres. We didn't farm like, farming or crops or animals or anything like that. But I ran out of drill, so I need a new color. But we always had like rabbits, and we had chickens and dogs and a lot of cats and, stuff like that. And then we had horses. We finally got horses. My sister bought the first horse, and then my parents got some horses, and so that's the life that I grew up with, out in the country, good, wholesome, outdoor living and stuff. And then when I got married and had to move to the city, that was really hard. I didn't like it. I never liked it, but it's just what happened, and I could hardly wait to get back to the country. So as soon as I was able to afford a house, that's what I did. I bought a house and we moved out to the country. I wanted to open this. Sorry. So we moved back out to the country with the kids, and yeah. So that's how that happened. So that kind of answered question 4, because question 4 was, did you always live the farm life? Well, I didn't. Not when I was a younger, kid. I lived kind of in a little neighborhood. And then my young adult life, like when I was married, and then after I was divorced and it was me and the kids, we lived in the city. I got to where I hated the city. And we're talking, it's not city like you think, Chicago, New York, big city like that. It's just like, it's a neighborhood in the city, but it just got too loud and too much ruckus, and just, I didn't like it. I just wanted out where it was quiet and peaceful and I had space. I mean, my kids had a good life when we lived there, and they had a lot of friends that they still have to this day were made in that neighborhood. But it just got too much after a while. Too many strange people moving in, too much yelling and arguing and loud music, and I hated it. I wanted my own space. So, yeah, I knew I would never live in the city again. I had to get out back into the country again. So, yeah, I am a country girl. I'm definitely not a city girl. Country girl. Question number 6 is, what do you plan to do after retirement? Oh man, Maritza, I got so many things I want to do after retirement. I mean, first of all, YouTube has become a thing for me, and I want to keep doing YouTube. I want to focus on it a little bit more. I want to diamond paint more. I want to do more complete works and finishes and, that kind of stuff. I've said this before. I want to start flower farming, figure out where I can sell flowers, make bouquets, maybe take them to farmers markets, see if I can make a go of some flower farming. We've got enough property here to do a small flower farm, and I want to give it a go and see how it works. See if I can make some money doing that. Or just, even a little bit of money. Even if it, recoups whatever I put into it, that would be great. In reality, I might need to get another job when I retire. I might need to supplement my income because, I only have worked 22 years as a teacher, and many people work 30. And therefore their pension is a lot larger than what mine will be. When I leave and I do take my pension and stuff, it's not that much. It really isn't. So that's my one concern about retiring, and that I'm probably going to have to get a job, even if it's only a part-time job, to supplement the income that I'm going to lose when I retire, at least until I hit Social Security age and I can draw my Social Security. Once I get there, I think I'll be comfortable, and I won't have to worry about it so much. But for a few years, I think I'm going to have to get a job, and even if it's maybe part-time, but makes halfway decent money, I'm going to need something. I mean, I do have funds set away, and money and things like that I can pull from, but I don't want to use it all up. I want to be frugal and just, so when I jokingly say all my diamond paintings I'm buying now are for my retirement, they really might be. I might not be buying a thing after I retire, I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I got lots of plans for after I retire. And then of course my husband's still going to work for a little while, but he gets like a ton of vacation time, sick time, things like that. So he can take off from work, and I think we'll do a little traveling, go some places that, we haven't been able to go before, that might take a little more time to get there, more than just like a week. So, that's what's in the future, I hope, for me. So, yeah, big things, big changes coming. I know it's going to be an adjustment in many ways, but I'm really looking forward to it. The financial piece is a little scary. It is. It's a little scary, a little nerve-wracking, but I think I'll figure it out. I think I'll work it out, And my husband will still be working, so we still have his full income, and he's worked at his job for 40 years, so, he's doing good, and his retirement, when he does retire, will be awesome. So, you know, there's that. So anyhow, that is my retirement plans currently. They could change, but that's currently what I'm planning. All right. My birthday. My birthday is June 14th. It is Flag Day. Yep, we have Flag Day in the United States where we celebrate the flag. I mean, that's what it is. That's my birthday. So it's kind of a big joke with my friends and my family that, everybody celebrates my birthday because they all go out and put out their flag on my birthday and they're, celebrating my birthday. Okay, well, it's just Flag Day, not because of my birthday, I know, but hey, don't burst my bubble, okay? Flag Day's always been, celebrating my birthday, so let's keep it that way. Oh boy. All right, next question is, who is my favorite author? Oh, well, I will tell you right off the top of my head, my very favorite author is Nicholas Sparks. I love Nicholas Sparks. I have all of his books. I've read every single one. My best friend and I both are the same. And Nicholas Sparks used to come out with a new book every fall. It was either right before school started or shortly after school started. He would come out with his new book of the year. He's kind of got away from that a little bit, and he's not regular like he used to be. So anyhow, I kind of miss that regularity of counting on a new book to come out. It was like a fun thing about school starting up again, At least I knew I was going to have a good book to read. But he kind of hasn't been doing that so regular anymore. But he is my favorite author. He always has some twist in his books. You may not like it. The story may not turn out the way that you were hoping. But he's an excellent author. I love every single one of his books. Walk to Remember, The Notebook, those are some of his. You guys probably know those from movies, but that's my guy. After him, after that it's a toss-up. I like contemporary women that write about like hometowns and all the different people and relationships in series that go on and introduce new people and keep the old people in the stories, and it just kind of goes on and updates what everybody's doing and who's getting married now. And so some of the authors that do that are like Susan Mallory. I love Susan Mallory's stuff, and Susan Wiggs, and oh gosh, who's the other one? Now my mind's gone blank. Susan Mallory, Susan Wiggs, Debbie McComber, I like her too, and Cheryl Woods. There's my other one, Cheryl Woods. Those are some of my favorites, and they all write like series, that go on and on for many, many books, and I like that. Keeps you involved for a while. So there's some of my favorite authors. What is your favorite go-to meal to cook? Well, I don't like cooking. I'll bake any day. Like just before I came downstairs, I threw banana bread in the oven. We had 2 bananas that were overripe, and my husband said, looks like they're ready for banana bread. Yep, yes they are. So, I just whipped up a banana bread and threw it in the oven, and I hope he takes it out when the dinger goes off, right? So, I like to bake. I don't like to cook like meals, like food, all right? If I have to cook, we usually do very simple things. We usually do like a meat and a vegetable, stuff like that. So it's chicken, maybe chicken on the grill, because we'll grill all year long. We grill on our deck. Throw a vegetable with it, things like that. The Instapot, we've been using that a little bit. Throw a whole chicken in there. So we kind of have basic meals that we make, and we share the cooking pretty well. Some nights he cooks, some nights I cook. There's nothing fancy I make. when it comes to cooking food. I mean, I can cook a lasagna. I can, we do spaghetti quite a bit. Just, we're very simple. We don't do anything fancy, like ever, really. So pretty basic stuff. Pretty easy things to do, I guess. Besides diamond painting, what other crafts do you indulge in? I have done lots of different things. My grandmother taught me how to crochet. My grandma was special, you guys. I was the oldest grandchild, and her and I just had this super special relationship, and she taught me all kinds of things. Crocheting was one of them. So I've been a crocheter for most of my life. I mean, she taught me when I was quite young. So crocheting, I've crocheted baby blankets, baby sweaters, baby hats, baby booties. I can't ever say that word that starts with an A, the amigurumi or whatever you call it, where you make little critters. I've done some of those. I've done regular size Afghans. Yeah, so crochet. I've done a lot of crocheting. And, I'm pretty good at it. I'll just say I'm pretty good at it. I have done cross stitch. As a matter of fact, I was just in my supply of like baby layette and baby Afghan books for my mom. And when I was in that bag of books, I found crochet or cross stitch projects. I have several little pieces of cross stitch things that I've made, and I've never done anything with them after the cross stitching, like didn't frame them or anything. I did take one at one point and I turned it into a photo album for my daughter. That one's pretty cool. But when I got into those the other day, I thought, at some point I would pull them out maybe and show you guys some of the things that I had stitched, but they're a long time ago, like 25 years ago probably. And then I just kind of stopped cross stitching for some reason. I don't know why, I just stopped. I bagged them all up and I just stopped. I don't know. But maybe I'll get those out and show you guys someday. I was pulling them out and looking at them and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I did that. There's some cool things in there. So maybe I'll do that someday. So I cross-stitched. Then when I had children, I really got into scrapbooking. I have all kinds of scrapbook stuff. Papers, stickers, embellishments. I did a scrapbook for my daughter for her graduation. I started one for my son for his graduation. I didn't get very far with his. I think I got until he was like 5 or something. And then this weird thing happened in the world. Digital cameras came along, phones came along, and everybody takes their pictures on their phones, and we just stopped having film in a camera that you took and made prints. Now you have to go have prints printed off, and I don't know. I don't have physical paper photos like I used to. And so I kind of just stopped doing that one too. Then, for a while I really didn't work on much other than some crocheting. And then diamond painting came along. I've tried other things along the way, like little Christmas ornaments and just, random little things. But those are my big ones. Those are my crafts that I can knit. I don't like knitting. Yeah, it's more complicated for me. It's not very relaxing. It's more work, and I just don't like to knit. I can, but I don't like to. So those are the kinds of things that I do for crafts. And of course, I was a Girl Scout leader for many years with my daughter. I was a Girl Scout too for many years. But we were always doing some sort of craft project, with Girl Scouts. And, so I've done a lot of interesting little kinds of things, But, yeah, so that's my crafting life. I can't think of anything else that I've actually done. I'm sitting down here in my craft room now looking around like, what else do I have? I started making a fairy house one time. Like I got one of those plain bird houses you can get at like Michael's or something. And I've started painting it, and I bought some stuff to turn into shingles, and I bought some moss and rocks, and I was going to turn that into a little fairy house, but I haven't ever finished it. I kind of got started and then lost interest in it, I think. And then I just started buying my own fairy houses, and that just seems so much easier. I don't know. But yeah, that's it for the crafts, I think. Anyhow, do I have my next color here? Yes, I do. Look at you guys. I am making the snow leopard as you watch me. Do you see that? I'm going to tell you a little story about the snow leopard real quick. I showed this video. Yeah, I showed this video of the snow leopard to my class at school when they learned that I had a YouTube channel. I showed them this one, and they all, because I knew they'd love the animals, they fell in love with the snow leopard. And I said, I need to name the snow leopard. And they were like, ooh, can we name the snow leopard? And I was like, sure. So they all got a piece of paper, and they all wrote down names to name the snow leopard. All right. Now, at the same time, people are commenting on my video on YouTube, and somebody made a comment. I have to go back and look and see who that was, but somebody made a comment about some snow leopards that had been born, and I believe it was the Toledo Zoo. There were 3 cubs born there. And this is the same time my mom is being diagnosed with cancer and starting cancer treatments and all of this. And they told me that they named these 3 cubs at the Toledo Zoo. And one of the cubs' names was Asha. All right. And that Asha, in the language, whatever language it is, means hope. And that touched me so much right there. And I was like, Asha, hope. She's hope, you guys. I'm working on hope. We have to have hope, right? Especially in going through some of the trials that we're faced with. Hope is what gets us through. Well, I didn't want to leave my kids out and make them feel bad after they went to all this trouble to come up with names. And, they're 7 or 8. So the most popular name that they came up with was Snowball. Of course, she's a snow leopard. I'm calling her a she. I think she's a she. And they wanted snow leopard, or Snowball for the snow leopard. And I was like, okay, we can do this. We can satisfy everybody's desires here. So her name is now Asha Snowball. That's her name. I already told the kids one day. And I explained the Asha part. So her name is Asha Snowball. It's kind of cute, huh? I like it. So everybody's happy. I'm happy. Hope. I guess if you translate it as hopeful snowball, I don't know. But that's what I'm going to call her. Asha Snowball. That's her name, you guys. So meet Asha. Asha Snowball. In my family, all of the animals have more than one name, Tifa Louise, Toffee May, Madame Onyx Debut. They all have more than one name, so, it's fitting. She's Asha Snowball. Oh, goodness. Guilty pleasures. Well, my diamond paintings are a guilty pleasure for sure. I have a ton of them. I've lost count once again, even after I gave some away. And then I gave some away again. I don't know how many I have now. You will never see me do a stash video. I would be just too... No, not happening. So that's a guilty pleasure for sure. The only other thing that I would call a guilty pleasure, I don't drink. I don't party. I don't smoke. I don't, I'm pretty calm and pretty boring, pretty basic. I do have to have my Diet Pepsi though. I can't live without my Diet Pepsi. People are like, you should just quit drinking that. It's not good for you. You'd probably lose more weight if you stopped drinking Diet Pepsi. And I'm like, no. I mean, I can make a lot of sacrifices. That's one I can't. My dad, it's my dad's fault. When I worked with my dad, for a while it was just him and I at the store a lot. And he would drink Tab. I don't know if you've ever had Tab, but it is the most disgusting pop in the world. And yes, we call it pop. It's gross. And he would try to get me to drink his Tab, and I just couldn't do it. He's like, okay, well then why don't you try a different diet one? Why don't you just like try Diet 7-Up or something? So I started drinking like some Diet 7-Up, and that was okay. I don't know whatever prompted me to pick up a Diet Pepsi, but it must have been when I was like 17 years old. And I've drank it every day of my life since. I honestly don't think there's too many days that have gone by that I haven't had some Diet Pepsi coursing through my veins. You know, it's just, some people drink coffee. Some people have other things. Mine's Diet Pepsi. It's just my cold caffeine. It keeps me going. It's refreshing. It's my thing. That would be my guilty pleasure. Yeah. After my diamond paintings. Because that's really, really a guilty pleasure. Yep. There we go. I thought about this one. Oh my goodness. Besides your husband, who would you want to be stranded with on a deserted island? And I had to think about it because I read the next question as well. And I had to decide. I can't say the same person for both questions. So who would it be? Besides my husband. If it wasn't my husband, I'd have to pick two people. I'd have to pick two people. And I couldn't choose between them. And it would be my children. I have my daughter, who's 34. The firstborn, of course. And then there's my son. He's 31. 32, 33. Yep, 31. And, yeah, if I was going to be stranded somewhere with someone, I'd want to be stranded with my kids. I love my kids. My life without my kids wouldn't be the same. As a matter of fact, when we talk about, if Mr. Mindy and I would have got married a long time ago, that they wouldn't be around, that my children wouldn't exist. And I was like, well, yeah, you're probably right. I'm sure we would have children, and I don't know how that would all work. It's all rhetorical and random anyhow, but my children are the most important thing in my life next to my husband. So I would say it'd have to be them, and I could not pick between them. I just couldn't do it. It would have to be both of them. So there's that. So the next question that plays into that is, if you could meet one person, living or dead, who would it be? And this is going to sound funny. My husband knew the answer. He was like, actually, he said it for the deserted island. He said it for the deserted island. And I said, no, because they'd have to be alive to go on the deserted island with you. The person I would like to meet is no longer alive. And that would be Patrick Swayze. There is something about that man. I don't know, it had to be Dirty Dancing or something. I don't know. I have loved that man for years. He is so awesome. He's fantastic. He's hot. I would like to meet him. Not only is he hot and sexy and great in all of the movies he was in and stuff, but he rode horses and he was a very active guy, and that's who I would want to meet if I could meet anybody, alive or dead. I know it's not somebody like, some famous person, some politician, some world leader, or, no, just Patrick Swayze. I would like to meet Patrick Swayze. So there's that. And the last question is super easy. It says beer or wine. The answer to that is neither one. I don't like either one. I hate beer. Cannot stand beer. If you saw my live during the DP-a-thon, you heard that I I got a glass for a Christmas gift, and it came with a bottle of wine, and I gave the wine away because I don't like wine. I don't like beer. I don't like wine. I might be able to drink a wine cooler every once in a while, but you know, last few times I tried one, they kind of gave me a stomach ache and I didn't like it. So if I'm going to drink something, you guys, just bring on liquor. I mean, you know, I'm not going to mess around with beer and wine. Just give me liquor. Okay? We'll just put it out there. And I don't drink very often. So, although, let me go back and rephrase or rethink this for just a second. There is one wine that I will drink, and it's a chocolate wine. I know it sounds weird, but it's chocolate wine. And we just found out that it comes in 3 different varieties. There's a regular chocolate wine, there's a dark chocolate wine, and there's a raspberry chocolate wine. Now, my husband can drink them straight, just like that. But they are fantastic mixed in a chocolate shake or ice cream. Take a chocolate shake or chocolate ice cream and mix in some of this chocolate wine. Ah, that's good. It's refreshing if you like chocolate and chocolate shakes and stuff like that. It's yummy. So I guess I could say I would drink wine if it's the chocolate wine, but that's really the only wine I like. So that is the end of the questions that Maritza had for me. And I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about me and yeah, getting a little insight into my personal life, getting all up in my business, you know, but you know, I don't mind sharing that stuff. Nothing too personal there, nothing I wouldn't tell you or tell anybody really. So, but there you have it. So I guess I'm done with this video. Let me just remind you, if you want to join along in the Hannahlyn, you know, DP along, get a Hannahlyn, post it on Instagram, send me an email, whatever, and paint along with us. Mine's coming along. Look, I'm just about done with this section here, and I'm going to have me some Asha Snowball body finished here pretty quick. Like, yeah, it's so pretty. Colors are fantastic. So yeah, come paint along with us and let's see how your Hannahlyn turns out, and then get some entries for that prize we're giving away. So until next time, you guys, I'm gonna let you go, and thank you for watching and liking and subscribing and sharing and commenting and all of that stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye bye.